And it's that time to bring you sport update on Break for Sport. Football returned to Europe and we see Africans doing wonderfully well in the world of sports. But let's bring you an update from the Commonwealth Games for 2022. So day 3 of the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, UK, looked pleasing for Africans who were in action. Over swimming, Olympic champion Tatiana Schoenmaker and Chad le Clos both clinched medals for South Africa. Tatiana looked so calm for gold in the women's 200 meters breaststroke, while Chad le Clos became the most successful athletes at the Commonwealth Games, clinching silver in the men's 200 meters butterfly. In the men's hockey, India really turned on style to beat Ghana 11-0, including a superb hat-trick from the man of the match, Singh Har-manpreet. But in weightlifting, we've got Nigeria. They have their first gold medal for Birmingham 2022, thanks to a brilliance from Rafiatu Lawal. The African champions sealed the women's 59 kg title with a Commonwealth Games record of 206 kg, including the Games record of 115 kg clean and jerk. Nigerian athlete Edidiong Umoafia was clinched the bronze medal in the men's weightlifting. Umofia lifted a combined 290 kg to get the men's 67 kg podium, while South Africa are the Commonwealth Games champion for the men's rugby sevens after defeating Fiji 31-7 to win gold. Uganda, the other African team playing classification game, they played really good, entertaining brand of rugby with a Walkerach boys, Philip and Michael, both deserving a little bit of praise. Of course, we've got a Ugandan sport analyst and commentator, sport anchor, it's all in one, who is in Birmingham right now to keep us abreast with all that is happening at the Commonwealth Games. We've got Clive Shazi joining us from Birmingham. Thank you, Clive, for joining us this morning.
Yes, good morning, Uchi. Thanks for having me this morning.
It's a pleasure to always have you. It's been mixed results for Uganda because you're from Uganda, so we're focusing on Uganda first. So, for the competition so far, but we know that there was glory for Victor Kiplagat, who gave Uganda their first gold medal at the 2022 Commonwealth Games for the men's marathon. And now the Rugby Sevens losing out in the medal for the Rugby Sevens Commonwealth Games game. But what is your reaction to the mix, feeling coming from Uganda? Gold in the men's marathon and no medal, of course, in the Rugby Sevens.
Yeah, maybe just to put a disclaimer, the Commonwealth Games officially start for Uganda tomorrow with the track and field events.
So what happened? What happened to the marathon? What happened to the marathon and the Rugby Sevens?
We didn't think the Rugby Sevens would go that far and get into the medal brackets, much as the coach this time around had promised that they want to give their level best and at least get out of the group stages. But also that wasn't achieved. Much as you would say that they displayed a brilliant rugby, but it can't be brilliant if it can't take you very far. But of course, that 12-all draw against Australia will remain the highlight of Uganda in the Rugby Sevens at these competitions. Victor Kiplagat winning gold on Saturday morning. By the way, it was a historic moment because it was the first gold that Uganda was winning in the marathon at the Commonwealth Games, where he did also write a bit of history for Uganda. And interviewing him after the race, he told us how he had prepared for this one. And he wasn't disappointed that he was actually able to come out on top. We have two boxers into the quarterfinals. If they can win their quarterfinal bouts on Wednesday and get into the semifinals, that will be a guaranteed medals, a bronze that can later be upgraded into silver or gold if they can get into the final. But track and field events, I'm saying Uganda's Commonwealth Games start officially tomorrow because that is where we have the biggest number of participants taking part in different races, and we believe we'll be able to get a few medals here and there, especially in the long distance races.
Okay, we're crossing our fingers and wait when Uganda will officially start their campaign at the Commonwealth Games. But let's focus on Africa right now. What African country or countries or athletes do you look up to give a good account of themselves in this year's competition?
Well, it is always hard when such games come around. Look at the Olympics, look at the Commonwealth Games and all that. When you look at Kenya, you still believe if they are to be dominant, they'll be dominant in the track and field events. Yesterday, I was talking to a friend of mine from Ghana, and he was saying their medals, actually, they expect medals to come out of boxing and track and field. We had an interesting bout yesterday. I don't remember the names, but a Ghanaian boxer was taking on a Nigerian boxer, and this Ghanaian boxer dominated this fight. But then the judges gave the fight to a Nigerian boxer, and the media tribunal was divided into two when Ghanaian journalists were wondering how they would give away the fight to all the Nigerians were celebrating. So it's going to be hard. I mean, you look at the medal tally at the moment, and Australia is up there with 38 medals. You have England following them with 17 or 19, if I'm not mistaken. Uganda is a distant 11th with 1 medal. Okay, you have South Africa also in there. But it's going to be very, very, very hard. And you look at South Africa and you believe outside swimming, which other discipline can they be that dominant? Yes, they were able to grab the gold in the sevens, but you believe that some of the events that we look at and we want to get medals, this is where the European countries, Australia, and all these other former British colonies are also very dominant. So it's going to be a little bit hard, but I'm looking at the track and field events as an area where probably African countries will be dominant, not to get closer to the other countries, but at least to try and get some medals to their name.
So let's focus on track and field. For the past 3 days, we've seen Australia. They are standing so strong, standing firm as number 1 in the medal table. Now, which of the events, of course, will be a stronghold for African athletes? We've seen there will be powerlifting too. There will be para games too. So we know that Africans are dominant when it comes to that because we have a different kind or species of food we eat. So which of the games do you think will be a stronghold for Africans?
Well, for the track, of course, I'm looking at the 10,000, 5,000 meters, where I expect the East Africans to be very dominant. I mean, they completed the podium in the marathon. You also probably look at the middle distance races here and there. The short distances, you don't expect much. Actually, Uganda has a sprint in the 100 meters and 200 meters. We are waiting to see how far it can go. The fastest man on the continent at the moment from Kenya. Yes, of course, you have the gentleman from Ghana. I'm just waiting to see what kind of show they are going to put up against all the other European, all the other countries that are not African. But I'm looking at the long distances as where we are likely to be very, very dominant.
Okay, track and field games will begin this week. That's Tuesday, according to Ferdinand Omayala, Africa's fastest man. Some of these athletes are looking to go to these games, to make up for their poor showing at the just concluded World Athletics Championship. Do you think Africa, we're going to see cases of fatigue for the athletes, burnout for the athletes after your showing at the World Championship? Toby Amusan, after that incredible performance, Esebrum, Ferdinand Omayala, who could not even make it to the finals, Akani Simbine from South Africa, and not also forgetting Lesile Tibogo from Botswana. Looking at all these athletes, are we going to be seeing burnouts or fatigue?
Well, I thought you would also mention Joshua Cheptegei from Uganda. He won double gold 4 years ago in Gold Coast. That's in the 10,000 and 5,000 meters. We also got information that he's actually skipping these events because of an hamstring injury. Although there was that debate even before the issue of the hamstring came in, whether he will be coming to the Commonwealth Games or not. The biggest challenge is the season is very tight for some of these athletes. From the World Championships, you have the Diamond Leagues around the corner. So people are weighing and they're like, do we go for the Commonwealth Games or do we skip the Commonwealth Games? You could say it is easier for the short distance runners, but not the same story. For the long distance runners, Victor Kiplagat, the guy who won Uganda gold in the marathon, him and the federation had to sit and decide whether he goes to Oregon for the World Championships or he actually goes to the Commonwealth. And they decided that he should be coming to Birmingham, a decision that probably paid off. But when you look at all the other athletes, the Commonwealth Games is not really that big and important to them, especially if you're coming from the World Championships. There is little time in between there before the Diamond Leagues get to start and all that. You need to rest your body, you need to be fresh. And remember, there is money the other side that they are competing for, while here you're only doing it for prestige and pride for your country. So you would expect some to show up, but don't be shocked if others don't show up.
Okay, let me put you on the spot right now. Where do you think Africa or an African country would be placed in the top 10 of the medal table?
Below the top 10.
Clive.
I'm being honest.
Okay. But what African country do you think will be placed below the top 10 in the medal table?
I'll look at South Africa maybe.
Okay, we'll hold on to your words. Thank you, Clive, for joining us, bringing us update all the way from Birmingham, where we have the 2022 Commonwealth Games ongoing. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, there, of course, updates from the Commonwealth Games for 2022. But I must remind you that football returned to Europe, where we've got Africans having an incredible showing for their sides, and the likes of the Community Shield, where we had the likes of Mohamed Salah, who did incredibly well too for Liverpool to clinch them that title after 16 years. 16 years for the FA Cup up against the defending champions of the league, Manchester City. So it's a great one to see that we have football this month returning back, of course, to Europe. Osa Olive, there you have it, sport update at this time.
Yeah, and of course, quickly congratulating the Nigerians who won at the Commonwealth Games. But thank you very much, Onyo Baru. Of course, we'll see you again pretty soon.